Good morning and welcome to the Maddalena Island medium race. Reminded me of Gilligan's Island. They only set out for 3 hours but ended up never coming back, almost like us as well. This race took about 7 hours. You can see the TWS is around about 3 here. That was probably the maximum we ever got in the whole race. It was a downwind start, and which proved tricky. Started with the main, and eventually when I got close, put up the Janica. Was checking my GPS to the waypoint, which is always a fairly good indicator of getting to the start on time. And everything in this video is going to be sped up 3 or 4 times the speed. I apologize for that, but it's just too boring without it. I know, because I sat through 6.5 hours of this stuff. Anyway, I went wide to begin with, and my idea here was just to get a slightly better angle. I think that in the end, probably not the best course of action in this wind. The guys on the left-hand side of the course there, and you can see the boats popping in. Some of them went fairly wide and then hooked back at the bottom of the island, and most of them did better than me. I'm talking about people like the Dane and ST2 Racing. But anyway, we come to the middle of this downwind, and Peppers decides to come across. Peppers in the end gets first around the first mark. So he did a compromised sort of position of going wide to begin with and then cutting back across. I think that this worked quite well, and he was getting much better boat speed than me at this time. And you can just see me checking different things here. The group on the left-hand side there, they end up going around fairly well as we're about to turn the island, and you can see that the guys that went to the left side of the course have rounded and probably got a slightly better angle than me. I missed the first buoy in my video. I don't know how that happened, but there was about 3 or 4 guys in front of me, and but by this stage I'd caught up to the leaders again. A little bit of tacking helped. I got to the west side of the course and then cut back across, and most of this second leg up here is all about tacking, getting more windward. But in the end, it was Parax who shone through. The 2 boats to my port side here are the Dane and Pepper's Ghost. Pepper's went a little bit too far to the east side of the course, and we have ST2 beaching himself here. He was offline at the time, and you can see that I'm trying to keep to a windward side here. I thought that would help. Parax is in the front there, and to my east here, I believe that was the Dane, who was doing pretty well at this time. Mr. Pimp and Syme are also fairly close in the mix. As we go through the small straits here. In these winds, my efforts to go to windward were to try to catch Parax. Parax kept to a fairly constant course. He must have been doing an AWA of 19 or 20 the whole time. And in this wind, he kept in front of me for most of this leg. I just couldn't catch him. I tried a lot of different things, but in the end, every time that I went to windward and then came back down, he was still in front of me. Anyway, we turned the mark, and you can see that Parrots is still in front of me. Right behind me there is the Dane, as others are just about to come around the buoy. And then the last little turn on the top of the island here, I thought I'd be tricky, thinking to myself that windward hadn't worked for such a long period of time. I thought, what the hell, I'll sneak through the islands here and see if I can get a Kodo up. I did get the Kodo up after I got through these islands, but the TWA, AWA was just on the edge the whole time, and I kept on losing, well, I was gaining speed but losing position the whole time down, and eventually I had to go back to the jib. I even went back to the Kodo for the last little bit, but Parrots, who had more of a windward side, could actually stretch the lead. As you can see, he's just off to my starboard side there, but by the end of the race he'd gained time on me, so actually putting the Kodo on and trading that trade time for distance and whatever else just didn't work out. And then after 6 hours 35 minutes, and this is about 4 times the normal speed because it was so slow, I could see the line for a long time as darkness had descended. And Parrots, congratulations to him, outsailed me today the whole way, and finally across the line. Just complaining about bad language from my name, Mad, no, Mad. Anyway, and here is the race results. Simon did very well. He beat the Dane. He went the same route as Parrots and gained time. Mr. Pimps did very well, and then the rest of the field. So I want to say thank you very much and enjoy your day.